I'm sure all of you have had a tough time and wanted to run away from a problem or thing that has happened to you. Let me tell you the quote by Kipman: "If God wanted us to be brave, why did He give us legs?" What I take from that quote is you got to face your problems head on. Just like the speech right now, you got to face it, you got to do it right now. Let me tell you about two personal experiences I've had with problems. First, let me tell you about a roommate I had when I first moved out. I had a roommate from high school that we were pretty close friends in high school and everything, and we decided to move out. This was our first time moving out, so I was 20 years old at the time, and we got an apartment, and it was going well the first 6 months, paid his rent on time and everything, and I noticed he started to not pay rent, like not come home on time when he was supposed to, miss days of work, so on and so forth. So then I started noticing that he was doing drugs, and then that came like 3 months, it was almost 9 months, and the lease was 13 months, so it was a year and 1 month. And after that, I just noticed how he was slipping on rent, wouldn't pay the electric bill, all that and all this, so forth. So I started confronting him about it. I'm like, you need to pay your rent on time, you're affecting my credit, blah, blah, blah. And he would just, ignore it, like brush it off his shoulder like it ain't no thing, like it's nothing. So I started confronting him more and more, and he actually bailed on me. So he left the apartment. I had to pay rent by myself for the remaining 4 months that were left on the lease. So I faced the problem head on. I kicked him out. I got a second job to pay for rent. It was a struggle, don't get me wrong, but I feel so much better, and because I did it myself, I didn't have to deal with the problem of having a drug addict and living with one. And then now let me tell you another personal experience I've had where you have to face a problem head on. So after that, I had a relationship with my ex-girlfriend, and she actually moved in after that. And we actually re-signed the lease again. So this girlfriend I had, she used to live in Boston, and then she moved back to California where she was from. So we had a good relationship for probably like 2 to 3 years. Maybe I would say 2 years, and started getting a little bumpy. So after this second year of living together, I noticed like she was a bartender at Applebee's. She would come home like later than usual. Like usual time would be like 1 a.m. Because they have to count all the stuff, count the money, do the chips, all that stuff. And then I just started noticing it'd be like 2 a.m., 2:30, and I'd wake up and like, where are you? So then I started thinking, like, I had the gut feeling she was cheating on me, and I was, I had a fear, because it was comfortable, it was a good relationship, other than the fact she cheated on me. But, so I had that fear of the comfortableness of the unknown, but I faced my fear, and I broke up with her. I did do that, and then we went our separate ways. So she wasn't bad. She paid the rent for the remainder of the time, but she lived at her friend's house. And then I don't know, I took the bull by the horns, and I just, did everything. I didn't run away from the situation. I faced it head on. And my conclusion of the quote, you just gotta face your problems, don't run from them, and that's it. Thank you. Was it? No, I thought it was bad. It sucks because when you're out there, you're trying to think of all these stories for each quote, and it's like you're reading each of them. That's good? Glad it's over with. Well, the story's done. You must do the shoes. My coffee. Be next.
All right, Kyle, the opening is okay. The thesis statement stems from the topic very clearly, so I know exactly the point that you're trying to make. I appreciated that. The preview basically comes down to I've got two examples, and I think you could make them make it maybe a little bit more suspenseful as to what the examples are and where they're going to go.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, it's okay. There's an organizational pattern because you got the examples that you're going to use, but it's not really much of a preview, and because they're just examples, it's not really building much except making the same point with the second illustration. When you talk about the examples, you got a lot of detail in them. You make them interesting stories. Sorry about your friend being a drug user, and sorry about your girlfriend.
I forgot to mention it, but now we're friends. He paid me back the money.
Okay,
He's
well,
clean.
there you go. So it has a happy ending. See, we missed the happy ending.
I know.
You know, you could have said that. And one of the advantages of facing your issues directly head on is that other people may have to learn to do the same thing. And I can fortunately say that my friend and I have repaired our relationship because he faced his problems because I did that or something like that. That sort of thing. And that would have tied it in a little bit more with your thesis. Your presentation is solid. Look, you've got excellent vocal projection. There's a lot of variety in your voice. Sometimes the energy level seems a little high, like there's anxiety coming out, but I think you channel it well. I think you do a good job trying to make it interesting when you're speaking to us. You got lots of gestures. Be careful maybe of overdo it. I was okay with it, but I know that there are some people out there that they get antsy with that kind of stuff, and to me it was fine. Because you look like you're animated and you're involved in what you're talking about, but sometimes people have a negative reaction. The one place, though, that there is a problem is your body movement. You just look like you can't settle down or get comfortable. That's where all your nervousness and energy is coming out in your feet. You're turning back and forth to the side, back. So you just never look like you've gotten in a stable position and you've got your fighting stance on. So other than that, I think the presentation is really solid. All right, thank you. Whoever's next is probably going to be our last speaker for the day, and I've got Nathan in the queue. Is that okay, Nathan, with you?
I told him he's going to be last.
Well, it'll be last today. Would you rather throw somebody under the bus?
I would rather throw somebody under the bus. You know what? Jalen, remember that Monday?
Jalen, yeah. Jalen, come get a topic and send it in.
I agree with this. Can I at least choose my own time?